Hi everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at some fun new things from Spellbinders that they kindly sent over to me to play with. We are looking at the July clear stamp of the month. I've been doing this ever since January each month, going ahead and unboxing their stamp of the month and creating a fun card. And I also have the coordinating dies. So let's go ahead. I like to kind of lay these out so I can get an idea of what we have. So most obviously we have the surrounding die for our big stamp here. And then it looks like we can cut out the center. Oh, that would be fun. We could do like a window card or something like that. And then we have all of our little tiny pieces. So we have our sentiments. Let's see, we have one here. I'm not going to put these perfectly there, but you get the idea. We have this here. And we have our Merry Christmas. Oh, I'm really excited about this window idea. I think this could be really fun. And then we have this. We have some holly and then some mistletoe, this looks like to me. And then maybe a poinsettia. I'm not very good with plants. Just ask one of my best friends. I'm really bad with plants. But this is the clear stamp and coordinating dies for July. Also, I had them go ahead and send me over their embossing folder of the month. They asked if I wanted to do any of their other clubs. So I thought I'd go ahead and give their embossing folder of the month a try. So this is the pretty folder for July. Isn't this pretty? I really like it. It gives some really pretty holiday vibes, but I also think that this could look pretty all year round. I love this. Okay, so let's go ahead and start creating. Again, down in the description box below, you'll see all of the materials that I'm using to bring this card together, as well as information on how you can sign up for the clear stamp of the month and the embossing folder of the month. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in a color called Juniper. And I'm going to trim this down to A2 size, which is essentially just trimming this into quarters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim first that long side right in the middle at 5.5, and then I'll trim each side down to 4.25. And then I have my little A2 size panel. And I like to start at that size. And I think this will be a fun color to bring in. Isn't that pretty? This is from Concord and Ninth. Really pretty color. I haven't worked with it yet, but as I was perusing through all of my colored cardstock, I thought that this definitely jumped out at me for this project. Okay, so I am going to bring in the green a little bit later, I think, but I'm going to start out with some 80-pound cardstock. I already have my largest stamp already placed in here, and I went ahead and conditioned it just by rubbing it down with my fingers. And what I'll do next is I will just take some anti-static powder, place it all over, and I'm just going to use my mini Misty here to get everything all lined up. And using some Versamark, I am going to do some heat embossing, and I think it will look really pretty in a gold. So let's try a pretty gold. See what that looks like. Okay. And stamp that down. I'm going to bring in my little press tool, give that a little bit of pressure. Check how that first one looked. It's so hard white on white, but what I'm going to do is realign, double check there, and I'm going to give it one more coat just to double check that I got a good impression there. Okay, so another Christmas in July card. I struggle with Christmas in July because, well, it's 90 degrees. We've had playtime outside, pool time, and oh, it's just so hard to come down to my craft room and think Christmas, but so many of you love Christmas in July, so you know what? We're gonna give it a try this year. Plus, this is a fun little product to play around with. Okay, you can't see that, nor can I. We're going to put a little faith in our stamping and go ahead and put our embossing powder on. So I will grab just a little catch paper. I will also grab a little clothespin and some gold powder. This is an antique gold in fine detail. I'll link it down below as well. Place a generous amount on and just let it set for just a minute. And then tap off. Ooh, that's pretty. Very pretty. Oh, I think it got a really good impression. Okay, I think we're good. So just place the rest right back in my container and we'll heat it up. Okay, there is, oh, isn't that pretty? There's the final look with the powder all melted. So pretty. Okay, let me grab some of the coordinating dies here. I'm really intrigued with this middle one as well. Let's get that going in the right direction. And I think it would be fun to cut out the center as well. So I'm just going to center this. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, we will place that tape on both sides just so it doesn't shift. I think that looks good. And then let's also cut out the center just by placing this right in place. Okay, so I'll place another piece of tape there and there. Okay, let's run this through and get this all cut out. Okay, there we go. Cut that out. And, okay, look how that looks. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and play around with the embossing folder that we got as well. I want to go ahead and do that out of a white. I think that would be pretty. So, but before anything, I'm going to grab a sheet of 80-pound cardstock and I'm going to trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4. That just takes 1/8 of an inch off of each side in total, and then I'll have a really nice thin margin around my card. I'm also going to take a wet wipe and just wet down my cardstock before I place it into my embossing folder. I seem to get good results when doing so, thanks to Carissa Wiley who taught me that. And let's run this through. This time I'm going to need platform base A, platform top B, my embossing folder with my paper inside, and then a cutting plate. So let's get that all placed in there, and there we go. I'm just gonna run it through and then run it back the other way. Okay, woo. Look how pretty. Oh, I love this. In a way, it kind of reminds me of snowflakes, just the shape. You can kind of see like a snowflake here and in here, but I also like that it looks like you could use it year-round because it's not obvious that it is more of a holiday embossing folder. It doesn't scream holiday to me, so I like that. Okay, so we have so far these two elements. Oh, I think that's super pretty. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with, well, I'm kind of thinking it would be neat to maybe put the green behind. Now I also pulled this color. Ooh, you know what? I might have changed my mind. That looks beautiful as well. I kind of like this green. I don't know, what would you have chosen? Would you have gone dark? Ooh, I don't know. I feel like this is more me. So I'm going to, what I think I'll do is maybe just, see, it's a little scrap. It looks like I was testing a pen on there. I'm going to, let's secure this with some washi tape. And what I think I'll do here is bring my mini Misty right back in. And what I also think I'll do is, oh, that's so pretty. Well, I was going to see if I wanted to bring in some stamps right on here, but I'm wondering if it might be better to maybe stamp on white. I think that could be pretty too. You know what? I am totally changing my mind here. Let's run in the shaker card direction. Let's get fun. Let's get some sequins out and run with the shaker. I can't ignore this opening we have. I have a piece of acetate here, and I am going to just trim out a piece a little bit larger than my window opening. And I have to say, it makes my heart so happy. Okay, that's gonna be perfect. That whenever I do videos like this and change my mind a couple times, they tend to be your favorite videos because so many of you have reached out saying you just love the completely honest and organic way that everything just plays out, right? You can change your mind because that's how we all craft. So I feel like I know I can have fun and change my mind and craft realistically in my videos because in some way or another that's helpful. It's helpful to see all of the kind of the ideas stirring around and then picking what's going to be best. Okay, what I did there was I just took a little bit of liquid glue and I created my little window. So now I have a little window there. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now the window looks like the windows at my house with fingerprints all over them though. Oh my goodness. A happy home has fingerprints all over the windows, right? Okay, so what I think I'll do next is let's get some foam tape and we want to create our little gate, if you will, and we're going to have to trim this down a bit, which is fine. So what we're going to do is just trim this in half. You're going to want non-stick scissors because that is going to help. Actually, let's just lay this down. That's going to help cut through everything. Okay, when doing a shaker, the goal here is to create a little gate that your little pieces, whatever your fill is, whether it's sequins or confetti or sprinkles, you could do sprinkles, that would be so cute. Whatever you fill it with can't come out. So you want to make sure you have no little gaps. Okay, so I'm just making sure all of the gaps are closed. See, now nothing can get out. Now with this particular foam tape, it's rather thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double it up. So I'm just going to do all of that once more. Now before, whoops, oh goodness, even with non-stick scissors sometimes this is quite a little chore. Before I double it up though, it's important that you remove the first liner. Okay, don't lay it down on the liner because it will just come right back up. It'll rip the first liner up and it won't give you that good permanent stick. Okay, not that it's going to be permanent, right? But you get what I'm saying. Okay, just make sure I got a good closure there. Okay, I'll just double up the remaining two sides and we'll be ready to talk about fill. Okay, I think we're good to go. So my idea here is that we will do this But I'm wondering, now I wonder if this is where we add a little bit of color with our filling. With our fill, I don't know. Ooh, that could be pretty. Let's grab some sequins. We can just play around before we make anything permanent. Okay, I am going to use a really fun sequins called Gilded. And I think this will be really pretty. At least I hope. Oh, I think that's fun because I kind of think it looks like kind of Christmas lights or something. I don't know. What do you think? I also have just kind of a standard gold, but I kind of think this is fun. I'm just, you know what? I'm going to walk on the wild side and go fun. So I'm going to use this pretty gilded. Isn't it funny how it looks more like gold and pinkish in here and then it takes on a blue tone? Let's see if that's the same if I just put it on white. It is. Okay, but I do like the green. I think that's fun. So let's do this. First, we're going to make a little mess, and then I want to, you know what I can do? Duh. Let's do our filling here. Okay, and then remove our liner. I was trying to think how I wanted to do this. Just like this. And then, now this doesn't have to be perfect, right? Not at all. It's just going to be a little backdrop. I'm going to place that there, just like that. And then I'm going to place it on my card. Oh, isn't that pretty? I think that's so fun. I really like it. I think it's super, super fun. Okay, let's go ahead and place this down. What I think I'll do, let's grab our card base and get everything, let's get everything built up. I think that that's going to help get us a little organized here. 110 pound cardstock. I have it at 11 by 4 1/4. I am going to opt for a top folding card, so I will score it at 5 1/2. Okay, and then I have an A2 size card. A2 is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so those are the final dimensions there. Let's open up our card, put our magnets down, and then let's do this first. I am going to do, now you can do whatever you wish here. I really like, when I have an embossed panel, I like to use foam tape because it kind of warps a little bit, and there's nothing like a really nice foam tape backer that just really makes it nice and crisp again. It's just something that I think makes it look so polished. Feel free, because I know we did foam tape for this portion over here, so if some of you are getting nervous that the dimension is going to be too much, then go ahead and skip this and glue this part down. I'm not afraid of dimension. The more the better for me, but you always have options if you wanted your card to be just a tad flatter. Okay, there is our foam tape. And, right, center that, place it down. There we go. See how it flattens out so nice? I love that. All right, now I'm not going to add anything more here in terms of dimension, but instead I'm going to add my liquid glue. Now, I do have some foam tape peeking out the sides there, so that will give me some extra adhesive. But a little liquid glue here is going to be just enough. Okay, there we go. And we can decide which way we want that. You know, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to go this way. Place that right on there. Centering it. I think that looks about right. And then press that down. Now, I'll also grab just a little block here and just let that set up for a minute. let's talk about sentiment. I am thinking that simple Merry Christmas would be really pretty. I don't think I'm going to overcomplicate it. And I might even, well, we'll play around with it in a minute, but let's go ahead and emboss that. We're going to let this set up and we'll emboss. Okay, my Misty is back. I'm going to just clean off that original stamp. And bring that right back up. Okay, so let's see, you go right there. And I think I'm just going to do this Merry Christmas. I want to keep this pretty simple. And grab our little magnet. I have some scrap paper that I just pulled out of my scrap bin. Bring that down. And anti-static. Okay. And same steps as last time. Versamark. Double that up just to be cautious. It's a brand new stamp. And we'll do our powder and melt. Same powder as last time. Looks perfect. Just save the rest. Isn't that a pretty gold? My sweet friend Kathy Zilski was mentioning in her videos, which by the way, if you want an amazing channel to watch, go subscribe to her immediately. Anyway, she was mentioning this pretty embossing powder color. Again, it's antique gold. I'll link it down below. And I went ahead and purchased it, gave it a try. Oh my goodness, she was so right. Coordinating dye and some tape, and we'll trim this little sentiment out. You all do not want to see my craft room right now. It is a beautiful little crafty mess. And beautiful things come out of messy craft rooms, but my goodness, I think it would behoove me to do a little cleanup. It's a little crazy. Okay, there is, oh, the placement around there was so good. I love it. Okay, I think I'm just going to cut out one. I think that'll be pretty. Let's see what we think here. So for sentiment, I kind of think something like that. Just simple and perfect. I really want to keep it simple. I really like it. So I'm not going to overthink that. I'm going to grab a couple little foam squares just to add. I mean, we've already done enough dimension, but why not? Why not just do a little more? Go ahead and skip and do as little as much as you'd like, but this is where my happy place comes in, is popping things up. So there we go. I think that'll be pretty, oh, very pretty. And you know, you can play around with where you want this to go. That's even really pretty too, just centered. I kind of like this. I'm really liking that. So I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to grab some tweezers, remove all of my little foam square backers. Actually, maybe just like that. Okay, now when I do a shaker card, excuse me, I usually like to bring some of the shaker elements out, so some of that sequins out, and bring it kind of to surround, you know, the outside, because I think that's a really fun way to tie in the shaker. I'm not going to do that. I think that in this case, that beautiful gold embossing powder is just perfectly enough. So I'm going to keep this as is. So I hope this was fun for you to watch. I have been really surprisingly having a good time with this whole Christmas in July idea. I think this is so fun. I really do love this beautiful embossing folder of the month, as well as their clear stamp and die of the month. So pretty. I think you could do so many things with this. I love how this turned out. Also, if you missed my other video, I did another really fun Christmas card, and this was using hot foil. So I will be sure to link this video up in the corner for you, as well as down in the description box below in case you missed this one. That way you have a couple inspirational pieces for Christmas cards that you can start this summer if you'd like to get ahead. And I also have one more card coming soon. So I hope this was fun for you to watch. Please be sure to give this a thumbs up if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.